Let's stay with legal matters because a number of civil society groups are expected back in the High Court to seek relief against Operation Dudula and its leaders. Kopanang Africa Against Xenophobia, the South African Informal Traders Forum, Inner City Federation and Abahlali BaseMjondolo are all pushing back against the organization for what they're calling their xenophobic and unlawful behaviour. They're also accusing the state of failing to act against this conduct. Watching developments there is our senior reporter, Canny Maphanga, who joins us now live. And Canny, in the main, these organizations are also accusing Operation Dudula of essentially targeting migrants.
Indeed. Good morning to you, Yanda, and to the viewers at home. The Kopanang Africa Against Xenophobia's legal challenge against the conduct of Operation Dudula goes into day 2 at the Gauteng High Court in Johannesburg, which at its core is about what the applicants describe as systematic, unlawful xenophobic action and, of course, the state's obligations in the face of it. Now, yesterday we heard from the applicants as they held up the conduct of Operation Dudula up against the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa as well as international law. As you know, South Africa has many obligations with respect to human rights to uphold in the country under international law, and we've seen the applicants demonstrate how the particular conduct that we have seen over the years from Operation Dudula, whether it is blocking foreign nationals from accessing those public healthcare facilities, whether it is shutting down schools with foreign nationals. These are all actions that infringe on those fundamental rights that are afforded to everyone in our Constitution and meet those international law obligations that are set on South Africa. Now, we've seen that applicants have also explained that where Operation Dudula charges that some of these facilities or some of these rights are afforded to citizens only, again, the Constitution was held up in the High Court yesterday, where it was explained that where the Constitution reserves rights strictly for citizens, it explicitly states that such a right belongs to citizens, such as the right to vote, which we know in the Constitution is afforded to citizens of South Africa only. However, when we speak of those fundamental rights and we speak of rights to housing or the right to access to healthcare or the right to education, that is stated as a right that is afforded to everyone. And the case law that we have seen in these specific cases have demonstrated that the word or the term everyone also includes migrants. However, this morning we are expecting that those government entities as well as organs of state, that is the Home Affairs Department and the South African Police Services, will be able to respond to this particular application today, because not only are the applicants seeking a series of interdicts that will put an end to this conduct by Operation Dudula, which the applicants charge as unlawful and inconsistent with the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, they're also seeking orders that would effectively compel government entities and organs of state to be obligated to act in accordance with those obligations set towards South Africa in the Constitution and under international law. Unfortunately, Operation Dudula is set as the first respondent. However, in this matter, which began in May of 2023, the Operation Dudula did not file their notice of intent to oppose these proceedings. So for this particular hearing, even though it is about Operation Dudula and their conduct, they are not party to these proceedings as they failed to file their notice to oppose. We did see a representative of Operation Dudula who identified himself as Mr. Kekana, the Treasurer General of the group, arrive at court stating that the organization had no knowledge of this particular hearing that was taking place over these 2 days. However, the court found that argument to be difficult to accept in light of the tweets and the comments and the interviews that applicants placed before the court, where Operation Dudula clearly addressed the NGOs that were taking them to court for their particular conduct, which the applicants charge as unlawful. So today we'll be hearing only from Home Affairs and the South African Police Services with respect to their obligations. Remember, they are being accused by the applicants of colluding with Operation Dudula, whether it is allowing them to wear that military regalia, which to the migrants could signify that their conduct is maybe sanctioned or that they have a close affiliation with law enforcement in South Africa. That is some of the points that the South African police services have to answer to. And then, of course, with Home Affairs, we know that there are particular raids that will take place in the country that will look at whether persons are documented or undocumented, and we have seen that in some instances Operation Dudula has participated to some extent, which the applicants are charging as collusion. Home Affairs will have to give their response in defense of that argument in this important matter where Kopanang Africa Against Xenophobia and others are essentially seeking a declarator which will first invalidate that particular conduct, and then of course they're seeking a series of interdicts that will bring an end to the various conducts that I have explained earlier, and then of course another constitutional challenge to Section 40 of the Immigration Act, asking for the courts to confine it to public places, and of course to declare it invalid in terms of how it relates to minor children who are migrants living in South Africa. So that hearing will begin at 10 a.m. this morning, and of course we'll be giving you those visuals live when those responses begin.
Canny Maphanga, thanks very much indeed for breaking that down for us. Canny is reporting live from the High Court in Johannesburg.